Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of What Drives You. I am one of your co hosts, Stan Windhorn, and with me, as always, is my co host and friend, Carl Bauer. Hello, Carl.
Hello, Mr. Stan. I'm excited about this one. We did a little preemptive magic show today, so I'm great excited to see what Dave has in store. Your friend Dave.
Yeah, man, I am excited about our guest today, too. I have known David Hamner and his beautiful wife, Denise, for many years. We've done some incredibly fun and creative projects together over the years. Dave has got a very interesting background including, but not limited to, he was once on the television show The World's Greatest Magicians. And for many years now, he's had his own theater called Hamner's Variety Theater in Branson, Missouri. But he's not only an amazing illusionist, but just an all around great human. Dave Hamner, welcome to What Drives You.
It's good to be here, Stan, and it's good to see you, my friend.
It's been a long time, man, way too long. So before we get too deep in this, I just want to say a thank you from my heart. So, uh, my parents, my father's gone now, but my parents used to come down to Branson with a group of other old senior citizens, and they would go and enjoy the shows. And Dave would not only make sure they had a great time, but he'd announce them during the show and then come and spend time with them afterwards. And man, that meant a lot to my parents and their guests. So thank you for always being gracious to them.
Oh, they're wonderful folks, and of course we knew them way back in the day and got to be close with them too. So wonderful folks. So your mama, she's still doing okay, right, Stan?
She's doing great. She's about to turn 91, still lives on her own. She's in a beautiful retirement community and pretty much runs the whole place.
Well, God bless her. You tell her I said hi. Tell her I love her. All right, Stan?
I will do just that. So let's go back to the beginning. So I met Dave Hamner. I think it was at some kind of probably youth event. We both used to be involved in anti-drug stuff and things with youth events, but Dave was just really kind of starting out in the world of being a professional illusionist. Prior to that, you were a Baptist minister.
Well, I still am a minister. That that
Oh,
that
well,
it,
okay.
it coincides with what we do, but yes, I never dropped that moniker. But in the same token, yes, the magic was a big thing, and we did meet at some of those grad night and dare program meetings,
Yeah.
and we got to know each other. And I think it was at a grad night that situation where we got to know each other. And you loved magic, and so we
Oh,
hooked
it's
up, man. We hooked up. And then you had some ideas, like you always do, Stan. You're the idea man. And
yeah.
so you said, "Hey, I got a couple of ideas," and you shared them with us, and then our friendship grew from there.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, and Carl, I may have shared this with you before, but one of the things after Dave and I had known each other for a few years, and Dave's right, I've always been a friend of magic, and so that definitely connected us. But one year at Medieval Times, I uh, subcontracted. This is not my employment at Medieval Times, but I got the contract to produce their Halloween show. So in the world of Halloween, Knott's Berry Farm turns into Knott's Scary Farm. They're the largest haunted attraction in the world. But Medieval Times kind of wanted to piggyback on that. So Dave and I hired Dave and Denise and some of other Dave's family members to help put this whole thing on. But we created the Battle of the Sorcerers. We haunted the castle with some really cool illusions and things like that. And then we also changed a lot of the regular medieval times show and brought some of Dave's cool illusions uh, to the show. And to this day, Dave, I still have people from back then who say that that was one of the coolest medieval times shows they've ever seen there, and they still don't know how we did some of those illusions.
Oh yeah, we had a great time, Stan. And you're right. You put this all together. You wrote the script. I even had a speaking part in it, if you can believe it. You were
You did great.
Garzon, and I was Anton the good. You remember? And you
Yes.
were Garzon the evil. And so
Yeah.
we had a wonderful time. I remember you tried to get me to ride a horse, and those stallions, I can ride a horse, but those stallions that they had there, oh my goodness, they were Andalusians, I think, or something, and
Yep.
I
That's
couldn't
exactly right.
ride them, man. They were too frisky. I mean, really horribly frisky, and it was
Yeah.
really tough, Stan. But anyway,
Well,
we tried. But we had fun with the big illusions down in the arena. We were doing a couple of 3 big illusions. We did a big impale thing, and we burned Denise alive. You remember that?
I do. That was one of
Yeah.
my favorites. So you're right about those horses. Those horses are beautiful, but they can be a challenge. But Carl, the big illusion, in fact, we had people who had worked at Medieval Times for years and years and years, and they just could not figure out how this happened. But basically, in the show, I'm the evil Garzon. My brother, the goody two shoes, Anton, was played by Dave,
And that's
and
me.
we were both, for different reasons, trying to win the affections of Elise, who was played by Dave's beautiful wife, Denise. But in this illusion, I'm all I care about is power. So as the evil Garzon, I've got her out in the middle of this giant arena that seats 1,100 people. We've got this glass coffin, and I challenge Dave's character to a battle of the sorcerers. And I place her in this coffin, and I say, "You've got 30 seconds to use your magic from up there to save her, or she's going to perish." And so all this stuff is going on, and the tension is building, and the music is building, and then I had this big stick with a lighter on the end of it. You may not know this, but non-dairy creamer is incredibly flammable. But I would take this handful of non-dairy creamer and throw it into the flame, and it, like this mushroom cloud, would go up into the air, and the inside of the casket that had Denise in it would burst into flames, and then basically leaves this smoldering skeleton. And I'd be like, "You have failed, brother. You have failed. Your magic is no good." And Dave would say one of our favorite lines that he and I use together when we call each other on the phone: "Not so fast, brother."
That's
And
it.
he would make Elise appear out in the audience.
We'd bring her back.
So bring her
So
back.
she passed the trial by fire. Remember, there were 3 trials.
That's
One was
right.
by the spike, the impaled. Then there was the
Right?
fire, and then there was the duel out in the arena,
Right.
the
Yep.
final duel, which Garzon met his demise.
Yes, I got killed in the end, as I
Yeah.
deserved, because I was not a very nice person. But
No,
the other
maybe.
illusion, and I want to bring this one up, is the other illusion that Dave would do there. And this is really, in the world of magic, it's kind of like being a rock musician or a guitarist. Like Eddie Van Halen had his sound, and Jimi Hendrix had his sound. Well, in the world of magic, you got to kind of have your thing. And what has put Dave and Denise on the map in the world of illusionists is there's plenty of magicians who make doves appear and stuff like that, and Dave can do that stuff too. But his claim to fame in the magic world is he makes these full-grown, full-size macaw parrots. I mean, the big ones appear out of nowhere, and then he flies them out over the audience, and they come back. And are you still doing the macaws?
Oh, oh yes, oh yes. We got 12 of them. We even have a hyacinth macaw, one of the most prestigious macaws. That is the largest flying macaws. They come from Central and South America. They're on the critically endangered species list. But this one is great. It's like the icon and of our theater, Maximus. And if they come out and see us, they're going to see Maximus, and Maximus will fly. But it's pretty big bird. It's like a big pterodactyl flying over their heads. It's pretty big.
The
So we still
audience
use
must
the
go
bird.
crazy for that.
Yeah, they go pretty wild, and it's a lot of fun. We love working with the birds. Denise has done an excellent job. Denise, of course, is a little
Yeah.
farm girl, but she understands animals. She was 4-H and all that kind of stuff. So she just took right to these birds. She nurtured them. She hand fed them as little babies. And of course, we've had some of them about 35 years now. It's been that long, Stan.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, brother.
It has been a long time. In fact, Carl, here's a little story for you too, because as Dave said, that Denise grew up on a farm. In fact, her father had a big trucking company and a very large dairy farm in Ontario, California. Um, if you've ever been in that area, you will know that you're in a dairy farm area. It is ripe, let's just say.
Yeah, but
But
you know what we used to say out there? Denise asked me one time when I first came to the farm, and she said, "Well, what do you think?" Because all of her other friends, the smell and everything kind of drove them away. I go, "Man, it smells like money out here." So we know what's going on there with those dairies. They're doing
oh
very well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they do well. But what was interesting is Dave and Denise had a house there, so you've got the dairy farm thing. And then the first time I went into his house, he had turned, I think it was the living room, basically into the aviary where he kept all the birds.
Yep,
And
it's true.
those birds have a distinct, where they live has a distinct odor as well. And those things are squawking and squawking. And I walk in, I'm like, how do you even live like this? And they're like, we don't even notice it anymore.
Yeah, it's true. And everyone that comes into our theater, they have their own room set up every day around 5 o'clock. And they don't have the sun, but it's just a time thing. They
Yeah.
start squawking. It's time to get to a tree, time to settle down, trying to get ready to go to bed. And then we get them up and work them. And they love it, though. They love getting out and doing the show and doing meet and greet with some of the folks and everything. So they really love it. Those birds are amazing, amazing. They're like a 3-year-old. That's their mindset is like a three. And
Oh,
if you have a 3-year-old kid, you know, they're pretty bright. And these parrots, they're very bright and they're escape artists. They they can escape anything. And so it's amazing that they allow us to work with them, and they love getting out and working every night.
So Dave,
that's awesome, man. And I know that's been your signature for a long time. I forget, it's been a while since I've been there. In fact, my apologies. I am way overdue to come and see the show. Um, but do you have like any place like when people come to see the show, is there a place for them to kind of see the birds, kind of like the horses at medieval times, like before? Is there like through a window or anything like that?
Well, we never really set that up. That requires a whole nother setup with the FDA and the health department and
Oh,
everything
okay.
else. So, but they get to go backstage. They get a backstage pass. They come back. We take a picture with Maximus, the big bird, and us.
Yeah.
And we also have a 350-pound female gorilla in the show, Stan.
Is that right?
Chiquita the gorilla. Wink, wink.
Okay.
Yeah, but it animated, of course, but it very realistic, very cool, and they all fall in love with Chiquita the gorilla too. So it's a cool thing, really cool. So they get to meet the gorilla, they get to meet Maximus the bird. So yes, they do get to come backstage.
Dave, I've got a
That's
quick question for you. Actually, two questions. One serious, one not so serious. The not so serious. So you're the person I have to blame that every time I come visit Stan, he's got a new trick for me that he's got to test out on me. Is that your fault?
Exactly. The one that you got to stay away from is that little one where you put your finger in the finger chopper. The
Yes.
finger chopper trick. Don't do that. You'll lose your. Yes, there you have it, Carl. I rest my case.
Too late. Too late. My serious question is: now that you've been in Branson all these years, about how many people do you think you've had through the show to experience your talents?
Well, we don't. That's a hard one because there's an ebb and flow to it. We can't say, oh, every day we're going to have 500, 400, 300. It comes and goes out here in Branson. The summers we do better. The fall we kind of take a back step too. But then at Christmas time, we pick up a little bit. We have a Christmas show, and so we don't know. So I tried to talk to my accountant the other day, try to figure it out. It's been probably, we've been seen with Jimmy Osmond's show, with the Branson City Light show that we were in for 3 years. I think Stan remembers that show too. It was a big production show that we were in. And then we came over to this theater in 2004 with our partner, Jim Barber. It was the Hamner Barber show. And so it probably well over 1 million, maybe more. And then, of
Wow.
course, on the World's Greatest Magic that Stan was talking about, that night that we played in Caesar's Palace and they recorded it. Of course, it was live recorded. 24 million people tuned in that night, and so I don't know how many people have seen over the years, but in Branson, well over 1 million. I would know that from all the years that we've been here.
Yeah. Yeah. And the reason I'm asking that more is a serious thing. I mean, the gifts and talents that you have and you're sharing with people is just amazing. To be able to do that for a job is unbelievable. Stan, obviously you guys knew and worked with each other with Medieval Times. So they put right on their website, and obviously they've been doing a lot, but they have so many different theaters. And so when Stan and I first started going down this path with the podcast and the YouTube, when we saw that number, I mean, it's in the multi-millions. So good job and keep it up. I mean, that's a amazing thing to be seen by so many people live.
Yeah. Well, we love Branson. We've been out here almost 27 years now. Actually, 28 years we've been out here. And when Stan helped us put together the Wings of Christmas show out there, we still have elements of that show in our show right now. We still have the Christmas tree that is produced, and all the pigeons fly in from the back and decorate that Christmas tree, which is a big deal. And Stan,
is that the finale still?
Yeah, it's the finale of our Hamner's Unbelievable Christmas Show. So that's the finale. It's in there still, and you helped us, Stanley Man.
Well, I'll tell you that the work that we did together on the Medieval Times Haunted Night Show was one of my proudest creative things I've ever done. Another one is the time when you guys first went to Branson. I don't remember the name of the theater you were in. It was some little or smaller place. But I think I flew out for 3 days.
Yes. Yep.
And in that 3 days, Dave was gracious enough to let me work with him on this, but we kind of revamped the whole show. We rewrote the comedy and the order of the magic and did some voiceovers and things like that. But man, it was an unbelievably fun, creative 3 days.
That was a place called Mutton Hollow. It's still there, but it became Celebration City, which was an amusement park. And then after that, a church bought it. And so now there's a big church that's out there. And so it's evolved over the years. It's been a while, But that was back, probably 28 years ago, Stan, maybe 29. Yeah. And it was right before we went to work with the Osmonds. From that point, we went to work with the Osmonds.
That's right. Yeah. I remember that now. Yeah, that was a really fun time. So is your Christmas show, when you do the Christmas show now, is it still go under the Unbelievable title, which is the name of your show now, Hamner's Unbelievable?
Hamner Unbelievable Christmas Show. So here's what happens in that show. We keep the best of the Hamner Variety Show in the first half. So the first hour and 5 minutes or 10 minutes, we kind of cram in the best of the Hamner's Variety Show. Then the second half, it comes out about 45 minutes straight on with all Christmas, original Christmas music, dance, sketches, some tricks, illusions. We have a whole Toys Land segment that's really cool. Of course, Santa shows up. We produce him in a sleigh, a lot of stuff. But the ending is a shadow theater. We tell a true story, which we probably told this story a little bit back then. About this guy that I knew as a kid. He was an older man, just on his way out, but we all got close to this man. He scared us when we were little, but then we got to know him. And when we went Christmas caroling at his house, we got to know this man. And so this story is in Shadow Theater. That Christmas tree shows up and all the birds fly in. It's a grand finale. It really is. But we kept that element in there, Stan.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I got to get out there and see the show. It's just been way too long. One of the things that's really missing here in Austin is we don't have any magic venues in Austin at all. There's one place called Esther's Follies, and there. In fact, I think we've talked about the guy. He's an illusionist. He's been there forever. I forget his name now. Nice guy. Used to run into at the gym too. In fact, he's got a couple of illusions there that I don't even know how he does them. So that's pretty cool. Esther's Follies. But other than that, there's no real magic venues. There's no magic stores in all of Austin.
I know those have gone away. The brick and mortar stores have gone away. They're going all to online sales.
All online.
Yeah. But here's what's going on down in Houston. The Magic Island opened back up, which is it's kind of like a smaller version of the Magic Castle in Hollywood. That's
Okay.
been there for a long time, forever. Then it had a fire, burned down. Then they rebuilt it, and now it's slowly coming back. But it's down there in Houston, so that's the closest to Austin that you're going to get to see a magic venue with a lot of different magicians doing close up rooms and things. And then they have the Palace of Tutankhamun, which is they have the bigger guys with illusions and if they have bird acts and stuff, they do that in that palace room.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I didn't realize that. I think I've heard of that before, but if they're coming back, I'll check it out. If I had enough time and money, I would try to open up something up here. I think it would fly because there's really nothing of that in all of Austin. There's no place for anybody to go to see that sort of entertainment, and most people enjoy it.
Sam, maybe tonight we'll talk to Joe Rogan about that. Dave, we're gonna go to the comedy club tonight, and maybe they'll give us a night of magic on the slat, and then you'll have to call Dave out and Stan to whip something together for everybody.
Yeah, they do that, but no, in California they got a little bit more of that. They got Stan remembers the Comedy Magic Club, Hermosa Beach. Our friend Mike ran it down there, did a wonderful job. Had all the great comedy guys come in, Arsenio, Jay Leno, all of them. I saw Robin Williams. I was down there, and Robin Williams, funny. Everyone back in the day, and they still have some of the greatest artists that come through there, and they always have a breakout act like a magic, and that's what they call it, the Comedy Magic Club, because they put a magic act in there. And so they brought our bird act, and we had our parrots in there flying around, and they have pillars set up in the middle, and they're flying around it. It was a little scary, but they did good. They were able to navigate and negotiate that and come back home. So, yeah, that was the Comedy Magic Club, Hermosa Beach. It would be great to have one out there in Texas, and I'd love to come down there and hang out with you.
Well, that would be cool. Yeah. So one other place where I got to see Dave perform, Carl, is there's a place. I mean, I was aware of this when I was a little kid because I've always liked magic, but the Magic Castle in Hollywood it's the mecca for magicians. In fact, you have to be a member to go there. It's an incredible evening, and a bunch of us got to go see Dave and Denise perform on the main stage at the Magic Castle one time too. That was a fun night.
Oh yeah, and we used to tease him, Neil Patrick Harris, a little bit because he used to be Doogie Howser when he was little. I didn't know that he was a member of the Magic Castle, the Juniors Club, and he has an affinity for magic, and he's a good magician. He really does a great
president.
job. Yeah, now
I don't know if he still is.
And I got to say this: virtually, Neil Patrick saved the Magic Castle. Kudos to you, Neil, for doing that. And he really turned it around. They were going down, and they were calling for people to help out, and Neil picked up the gauntlet. He came and he helped out, and he's done a wonderful job. So kudos to Neil Patrick for what he's done. Ed Alonzo, we used to give him a hard time too, but Ed's a good friend of mine. We talk to each other all the time. He's doing a spectacular job. He's on television quite a bit with the Masters of Illusion, and he's still doing it and doing a bang-up job.
Well, didn't Ed Alonzo have a reoccurring role on Saved by the Bell?
Exactly. That's the same one and only. He was the guy that owned the diner there, and he'd come out and do a trick every once in a while. I always liked that he'd bring magic into it. But Neil Patrick just recently did a magic advertisement for Walmart on the post box tops or something back to school. He does 2 illusions that are really cool. And kudos to him on bringing magic into advertising and trying to keep it going. I thought it was really cool what he did. You can catch it, on Facebook or any place.
Yeah. I'll check that out. Well, you mentioned Ed Alonzo, who we saw. I think you went with me, or maybe not, but we saw him perform next door to Medieval Times. It was the Wild West show at the time.
We went there. Yes, we did.
Yeah, and shortly after we did the Haunted Nights, Carl, Dave was like, "Man, I'd like to get a gig over at because I think Ed Alonzo was only there sometimes over at the Wild Bill's variety show or whatever." So I was sort of acting as Dave's agent, and we went over there, and they were like, "Yeah, we would love to have something like that Falcon routine they fly around at Medieval Times." I'm like, "I got your guy right here." And so we were meeting with the people, and Dave had a couple of the birds, and he didn't do the magic show at that time, but he just got them out, and this was a smaller venue, and they had all these like spittoons and stuff up on the rafters. But the birds, I don't remember this day, but the birds kind of got away from you a little bit, and they got flying around in that room, and I'm hearing them crash, bang, little feathers are falling down. And the lady's like, "Oh my goodness, what's up, my guy?" I said, "No, it's all good, it's all good. They just got to get used to the room." Anyway, they come back to Dave. Dave gave them the once over, made sure they are all right, let them go, and those babies just flew perfect right over our heads, right back. It was awesome.
Yeah, they always got to get used to the room. Of course, they're used to our room now, and they've been used to our room for years now. I don't know. I always think about when we played over with the Branson City Lights. That room held 2,700 people, had a balcony way up there, and
Oh wow.
our ending was the two red green wing macaws that would fly out over the audience, and they would get up and fly around, and then at the right time they would lock them up and swoop over the audience. And that was something that was amazing. Every night it was thrilling for me to even see our
Yeah.
birds do what they did. Yeah.
That's so cool, man. That is so cool. So I want to ask you about another illusion. This was one that you were working on years ago, and I think I've seen it on your website. It's sort of a pyramid. I believe it's like Denise or somebody gets in there, and then it spreads them out.
Oh,
Uh,
that's the Stargate illusion.
Stargate. That's it.
It has an Egyptian theme. Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
does. And we designed that. It's based off an old illusion called The Princess Without the Middle, but it has a number of differences. And Denise gets into this. It's kind of a box, and she gets in, and we pull down a headpiece over her, and they see her face the whole time. Then the box comes in, and then we shoot it with a snake stick. You remember the snake stick, right? I think you would.
Yeah.
You remember? We shoot it
Yeah.
with that, and then it starts to come apart. And slowly but surely, it graduates out where her hands are way out. It's like a stretching at that point. Her head's at the top, her feet are at the bottom, and then it splits at the bottom. They see the back, and they think, well, maybe she's hiding behind the back. So the mystery keeps unfurling as it goes. And finally, the back splits in half. There's nothing there. We turn it 180 degrees, 360 degrees, actually, all the way around. They see the back, they see the front. And that's where the magicians all really like that when it's different. It's really different. So,
Well, yeah, I just remember when you were working so hard on that. This is years ago, but you were working so hard on the design of that. And once again, that's sort of a signature. It's based on an illusion that maybe others do, but nobody does that one the way you do
no,
it. Is it
no,
still in the act?
we still have it. We've got another trick that does some similarity, but we are going to put that back in. Yes, it'll be in. But we're excited. We put in. It was 10 years ago that we had this one trick in, the mysteries of the lost Ark revealed. It's about the Ark of the Covenant, and then they all wanted us to put it back in. I said, I'm not going to put it back in unless I can rebuild it. So we got all these little molded pieces from a Hollywood movie replica place. And they build a couple of these arcs. It's not out there that much, but it's exactly like the Raiders of the Lost Ark. So we got to put it all together. We had to build the cabinet and everything on it. And then we had it spray painted with a company up here, and they gold gilded it, and it looks just like the one from Raiders of the Lost Ark. So when it comes in and the lights hit it, it's like, whoa, that's the real Ark right there. And then we do a production with it. The girls, excellent dancers. They dance around, they work with that. And then it just vanishes. And it's pretty cool because that's one of my theories that what happened to it. Everyone's saying, well, they put it in a cave and the Rothschilds got it and they're guarding it and blah, blah, blah. They got all these different ideas. But the one that the Bible brings out, John had this vision and he said, I saw the tabernacle in heaven. And the ark was there. And I think God may have just taken it out, man, because he didn't want people to worship that relic like a god. You know what I'm saying? Took it out of there. And then
Or
someday
abuse its
it will
power.
come back. someday the Bible talks about it will come back. The temple will be rebuilt. Boom, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
So interesting. All that's interesting stuff. But we do a historical thing, not so preachy, but a historical thing. I blow the shofar. It's kind of cool, but that's in right now, brand new. I have a commercial spot that's only about 20 seconds. I could probably send you, and you might be able to put it up, and show the folks. But it's really cool.
I would love that. Do that. So, David, Carl is a man of faith. Um, and I, I think you were. Do you still on Sundays? Do you turn the theater into basically into a church? Do you still do the Sunday
Well, we
things?
don't we don't do any magic and turn it into something else. It is what it is. It's a theater, but we have Branson Gospel Evangelistic Center that meets there every Sunday at 10 o'clock. We film it live on Facebook, and then we have a local ABC affiliate that picked it up, KSBR. We do a 30-minute, just they kind of edit it down a little bit. And that plays every Sunday at 6 in the morning. It's early. They're drinking their coffee and they can watch it if they want to. But we do that, yes, every Sunday at 10 o'clock at our church, and we film it all live.
All right, I got one more question. We're getting tight on time, and then I want to see if Carl has any for you as well. But I know you're quite the singer as well, David. You're the man who's got, all the bullets loaded in the gun. So do you do any singing during the normal show, or do you do any singing on your Sunday morning?
I do a
Special thing?
little bit with the Sunday. I don't do like I used to. I'm not a kid anymore. Those pipes, they don't hold up like they used to. But I don't sing quite as much as I used to, Stan. But at church, I do a little leading with the singing. And then at the end, I sing along. We have a song at the end, Rise Up. Maybe you've heard that song, Rise Up. And it's all about, it's a patriotic piece that we put into the show. It's really
Nice.
cool. But
Nice.
but but I do sing with that, yes. But no, I've got Tamara Tinoco who sings in our show, and I've got Jeff Brandt. He's an impressionist. He worked 13 years with Wayne Newton. He's a great one, opening act for Wayne Newton. And
Oh,
we've
wow.
got him in our show, and he does impressions. So I let them do their job, and I do the magic.
All right. Well, Carl's quite the singer too. I just found this out recently, Dave, because I heard him sing. I didn't know you could sing. He goes, "Oh, I used to sing all the time." Anyway, Carl, I've been dominating this whole thing with David. Do you have any questions that you want to throw at
No,
our
no,
master illusionist?
I'm excited. Just more of a comment. The fact that you can kind of mold magic and faith is really cool. I'm excited to come down and see the show and get the treatment. I will pretty much guarantee you that I will beat my friend Stan there, unless he can join me. But yeah, I'm excited, and I think just as a kind of a public a press release, for those of us who are listening, if you're looking for a place of Americana to go and see live shows, especially if they're just not music shows, there is nothing like Branson. I would say even over Vegas from an affordability, from a patriotic standpoint, from a just a approachability, there is nothing like Branson. So if you have not been to Branson in your life, you got to get there and see some of their live shows. So you are on my list, and I know there's just a lot of amazing talent there. And it's too crazy too, Dave. You could speak to this maybe for a quick second. Is so many of either people ending their careers or beginning their careers start in Branson from a live,
Mhm.
people end up on cruise ships, on shows in Vegas. It's just an amazing talent pool down there.
Yeah, there's a lot of great ability, a lot of great talent down here. And Carl, sidebar, you're welcome by my fire any time, brother. You can come and we'd love to have you. You and Stan. Stan knows he's always welcome. He can walk in. But Carl, you're welcome. I want you to know that, brother. You come
Thank
anytime. We'll take care of you. We have other shows in our theater. We have tribute shows. We have the Bee Gees, and they do a great. These are all award-winning shows too. We have ABBA, we have the Beach Boys, and we have Simon and Garfunkel. And so
Oh.
these are some great shows that go on during the day at our theater. And so, but you're welcome to come to attend any or all of them, whatever you want to do. But we'd love to have you, Carl. I'd love you to see our show.
That'd be great.
I
All
got one
right.
last question before we wrap things up with our normal questions. At one time, there was a guy, I think he was Asian and he played the violin, but everybody talked about this guy's bathrooms. Everybody, they didn't go to see the show, they go to see the guy's bathrooms. Is that still there?
Shoji Tabuchi. That's who that is. Shoji Tabuchi. He is no longer here. The theater that he built, and I think that the bathrooms with all the gold-plated, I think it's all still there. And right now, sadly, it is empty. A couple of people have looked at it to buy it and so forth. It's an expensive property. So it's just one of those things. It had to be the right group that would come in there and buy it, But it's close to our theater. It's just down the street on Shepherd Hills Expressway, just about a block or two away from us. So it's still
Somebody's
there.
Got to be able to afford those bathrooms.
I don't know, brother. But remember, they had the pool table set up in there in the gallery. You could watch him play pool. It was amazing, amazing thing.
Yeah, yeah, pretty cool. All right, Carl, let's go to. I'm going to turn it over to you. We do this today with all of our guests. This first thing's going to be a little bit rapid fire. Are you ready for this?
I'm kind of ready, I guess. I'll do the best I can.
Go ahead, Carl.
So obviously the name of the show is What Drives You. It started out as more of an automotive show, and then we kind of spun it to, hey, let's talk about life. What drives you in life? What gets you going? So entertainment obviously has been a huge part of your life. But from an auto perspective, we wanted to keep this little nugget in there. So what was your first car, Dave?
My first car was a 1960 Dodge Dart. It looked like the Batmobile, and it was pink. And they called it the pink, and they gave it an expletive house. The pink, they called it. That's what they called it. It looked pretty bad, and I wouldn't drive it today. But I tell you what, I love that car. It was a push button. You had push buttons on the side, and it was a 1960 Dodge Dart. Yeah, had a big thing in the back where it looked like a tire was, and the compartment in the back there. It was weird, how that all worked, but it had big fins on the side coming out. It looked like the Batmobile.
Cool.
That was my first car.
Of all the cars, since you went back to the 60s, of all your cars you've owned, what's been your favorite?
A 68, I want to say this right, Mustang. And it was a vinyl roof Mustang, and out in Arizona, Stan knows that in Arizona, the sun's so hot and it just tore it up. But it was a beautiful car at one time. Somebody stole it out of my front yard even and tore it up. They found it out in the desert, gutted, I think. But I love that 1968 Ford Mustang. I did, and it had some get up and go.
Classic. It's a classic. All right.
Classic.
And what would be your dream car if you could own anything? What's your
This is going to sound weird. I changed on this. I kind of like the Teslas. I see a few of them out here. I saw a black one that looked like the Knight Rider almost. It was so cool looking. I thought that is the most unique. And it was a black Tesla, and it was like a truck. Had that. And I used to think they were ugly, and all of a sudden I started liking them again. So the only problem is they're 100% electric. 350 miles is the range. I don't think I could handle that. So anyway, that's the downside. But on the other side, I like the way they look and they operate. I think they're cool.
Got it. Well, and our final question, Stan, if you want to fire this one up, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Carl.
So what we do, Dave, is it's our kind of our wow question, words of wisdom. What would you tell young Dave, 18-year-old Dave, or any young person, something you wish you knew then that you know now after all these years of life experience that might help someone who's listening today, just kind of like, hey, it took him 50 years to learn that, or 60 years, but man, I could apply that today.
Stan knows me pretty closely. I'm kind of a higher strung type of individual. When I say high strung, I'm a performer, entertainer. And yet I got this other side that I can back off when I have to back off. But I've got some anxiety and some stress levels that I have to deal with. I attribute my faith in the Lord to getting me through this. And I would tell that young Dave, you know the Lord, Dave, you've accepted Christ. You're okay. You're good. Don't worry. Everything's going to work out. You just put your faith and trust in the Lord, and you're going to get to where you're supposed to be, and it's going to be His will, and you're going to be okay. Everything's going to work out. I married Denise; it all worked out. The job situation worked out. I'm able to still preach and do what I love, the magic. I never could have dreamed up this situation. I never really wanted to own a theater, but that's the way it is out here right now. And yet, God's will. So that's my words of wisdom. Just put your faith and trust in the Lord. He'll get you through this life. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be some tough times, but in the same token, I'd rather walk with Him than walk without Him. So that's
awesome.
Just put your faith and trust in the Lord, and He's going to get you through these times in the world that seems so unsettling, even right now.
I like it.
That's awesome. Thank you, David. Hey, buddy, thank you so much for doing this. It's been way too long, and I do need to get down there. Carl, maybe we'll have to figure out a way to both go to Branson and go hang out with Dave. And Dave, please, I'm a little disappointed Denise wasn't on this. I was kind of hoping she was going to, at least I get to say hello, but would you give her a big hug and give her my love? And I miss you, buddy.
I will miss you too. And thank you so much, Standy, man. I love you, brother. You guys are welcome anytime. Just get out here. Just get out here. All right.
We'll do it.
Thank you.
All right.
God bless you all.
Everybody. David, thank you. Carl, good seeing you, buddy. And thanks everybody for joining us for this edition of What Drives You. We'll see you next time.
Take care.